Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are doing a pick a card reading about how men view you right now. I want you to find the goddess that is calling out to you the most and pick your pile. You can use the timestamps that I put in the description box to get to your specific reading. I'm super excited about these messages, so I will see you in your designated pile. Oh, and before you head down, if you've been wanting a personal reading, I have something for you. Whether you're looking for clarity on love, your life, your destiny, or if you want to know who your fated partner is and when they're coming, I have a reading for that too. Right now, you can get 20% off of any personal reading with code CLARITY20 at checkout. The link is down below, and I would love to read for you. All right, guys, with that being said, I'll see you in your pile. Hi, pile number one. This is for those of you who felt drawn to pick the goddess Aphrodite, which is a very beautiful goddess, by the way, and she exudes beautiful energy. So I'm excited to read for you guys. I do have some messages that I wrote down that I want to relay to you about your pile and how men feel about you. And then we're going to get into the 5 different decks that I pulled, some cards. We're going to reveal what those cards say. All right, so what I wrote down for you is that you naturally exude love, beauty, desire, and fertility. And also, men feel like you would make a great wife or a husband, depending on who's watching, if you're masculine or feminine, but they do feel like you would make a great wife or a great husband. They also feel like you could have a lot of suitors outside of them. So there's this energy of you being so phenomenal that there must be many who feel this way about you, many who are vying for you and your love, your affection, your time. They may feel like you like nice things or you like fancy gestures. So they could always be thinking of ways to trump what they did last, trump what the last person did, the last man did in your life. They feel like you are very beautiful or very handsome, and I do feel like that is true. That energy definitely gives that for those of you who pick pile number one. You could also attract people very easily without even trying, and you have natural magnetism and aura about you. And also, you inspire creativity out of others. So you inspire people to go after their goals. You inspire people who have not even thought about marriage that they now want to be married. You inspire people to take better care of themselves, their health, their looks, to go after their career goals, their finances in order. So you inspire a lot of creativity and for people to think outside of the box when it comes to you. All right, so let's get into these cards. Let's see, where should we start with these cards? I want to start with this one for you. Okay, we have addiction for how men feel about you, which is, and we also have twin flames. Okay, so starting with the addiction card, I definitely feel like a lot of men tend to get very codependent in your energy without wanting to. There could be people who are very like self-sufficient. They could be very self-reliant and independent, but by the time they get warped up in your energy, they feel very codependent on you. You also can inspire a lot of obsession about you or even possessive nature. There's an energy of men wanting to control the situation, almost like a fear of having you slip through their fingers. And they also may feel like there could be a block or restraint trying to move ahead with you. Okay, maybe like they have to move at a slow pace or it takes a lot to get your attention or your time. But I don't know why they feel that way. That could just be their projection, but there's an energy of feeling like there's a block or there's a restraint. You also could pull in a lot of men who have blocks in their life that they need to heal and grow out of. All right, especially with that codependency, that's not necessarily a good thing. But yes, you really do bring a lot of addiction towards you when it comes to how men feel about you. They feel like your energy is very addictive. They can't get enough of it. They feel infatuated with you overly. Okay, there's this energy of obsession even with this card. We also have twin flames here. So you do have this energy that feels way different from other connections that they have dealt with, other people that they have dealt with, even their friends, their family. There's something very special about you. You could feel like you give them this energy of yin and yang. You give them this energy of zen and balance. They want to be in a union with you. They feel this energy of duality. They feel like you guys should be coupled, okay? And they feel like you guys complement each other well when they step into your life, whatever that means for them. All right, so twin flames is coming out as well. You could attract, especially if you are romantically interested in men, you could attract a lot of people who feel like really strong connections, not just like flings, not people that don't have a lot of meaning behind what you guys have together, like really strong soulmate, twin flame type of connections that come towards you. All right, let's see what else we have here. All right, we have stepping stones. And we have the anvil here. All right, so stepping stones make sense, especially with the addictive energy, because there's this energy that men feel like they have a block or restraint, or they have to have restraint when they're around you. And stepping stones is like the process of arrival. It's about taking baby steps, taking things slow, not rushing the process, something that needs to be handled with care. All right. They may feel like you also give them a way out. So you could have people who may feel unfulfilled in life or unhappy about some type of, issue in their life. And then when they meet you, you kind of are like the sun that radiates so brightly, so warm. You kind of make them feel like, okay, my life is turning around in a positive way because I met this person. You give them this energy of how to keep going in their life, okay? You also give them this energy of like making progress towards something meaningful, Like if someone had a hard time figuring out what their goals were, you could also meet very valuable and accomplished men who have a lot going for themselves, but they have lost like that lust for life. And by meeting you, you kind of make them feel like they have progress again. They're moving towards something meaningful, valuable again. All right. You also invoke a lot of spiritual growth by the men that you encounter as well. You kind of push them into that direction of heightening their spiritual self, moving towards their higher self, enlightenment, even with the stepping stones. And this gives me a very Zen spa like energy. So there's something about your personality or just being around you. You give off this very calming presence, that you can relax and, life is good and almost like vacation vibes. Okay. We have Anvil here. So again, this talks about being able to resolve issues. It feels like men kind of learn this lesson of how to communicate better with you or how to change their perception or their perspective on things, their mindset, how not to be stubborn or arrogant anymore. You give them a sense of purpose. You also become like the main focus for a lot of men who want to come towards you. And they do put heavy concentration on you and the connection that could be brewing. There's something about resilience and not giving up or being able to bounce back from maybe a really boring, mundane time in their life. They feel like they need to strike while the iron is hot. So they feel like you're not someone that they should play games with or they should sit on. They need to make action right away because, again, there's this energy of you having maybe a lot of suitors or a lot of people who are vying for your time, your attention, your connection, that you're hot on the market. So you're not going to always be there. I need to make strides and make haste like quickly. You make them feel like they need to take determined action towards you. You bring out their strength, okay, like their manly energy, their alpha energy. And you also bring out this air of persistence, of wanting to try again, not easily giving up. You may see that there's men that you may even turn down, and maybe not even for like a bad reason, maybe just because you're not interested that day. You have other things going on. You could be in the pursuit of something, you could be busy. And it's like they don't give up. They'll try again. Someone could send a drink to your table and it's a nice gesture, but you're not really looking to connect. And if they don't see it, then they're like, okay, now go pay for their bill. Like they don't give up. Okay. They'll continue to send the flowers. They'll continue to send the gifts. They'll continue to hit you up, to communicate, to try to ask you out again and again because they do not want to miss this opportunity. All right. Wow. Let's see what else is here. We have okay. We have two lover cards here, and we also have the card of thoughts. Okay. So this is the lover card of the feminine. We have the card of thought process. And we also have the lover card of the masculine. So it's almost like the masculine, and this is how the cards are laid out so that you can see. The masculine is thinking about you a lot. Men think about you a lot. They think about what's the next steps towards you, how to move forward with you, how to open a door with you. how to get your attention, your time, maybe even get your commitment here. All right. So there's an energy of just being on men's mind, like being on their mind all the time and always coming up with some type of strategy to move forward with you or to get your acceptance or to get your delight. And also, too, I see almost like with this feminine, there's an energy of like waiting for the right person. So there's a lot of men who may feel like, they're not the one that you have in mind. Like you don't feel like they're the one, but they feel like you're the one. Okay. Like you could still be waiting for the next best thing or the person that's really going to invoke something great out of you, but they've already decided. That's kind of what I'm getting from this message, but it's interesting. Let's get one more. How do men feel about pile number one? Okay. Oh my God. We have the death card. Okay. So there's this energy of evolution and change that you bring out of them, wanting to be a better man, wanting to have a glow up. You could really have this energy that forces men into like the gym and getting their body right, eating better, taking better care of themselves, getting to the bag, chasing the bag, really going after their career goals. Okay. So there's a big energy of evolution and change that hits them by storm when they encounter you, of wanting to shed the old skin and become something new and become the one that's going to get your attention, that you're going to pay attention to. So that's very interesting for those cards to come out the way that they did. And it feels like you're still waiting. Like if you're single watching right now, you may feel like you have not met the one yet, like you're still waiting on that person, but there's many men who feel like they have met the one through you. They already have decided. All right, let's move on to the next pile. Okay. We have indulgence here. We have imagination. And we also have alliance. All right. With indulgence, you bring this energy of joy and like very like friendliness. You give this energy of like wanting to interact all the time. There's also with that card of indulgence, men do not mind doing really nice things for you, expensive things for you, because you make them feel good about themselves. So take that as you will. That's what I'm getting. Like I'm hearing like someone who usually doesn't spend so much on dates, or someone who doesn't usually spend so much on gifts, or someone who doesn't really spend on trips or something like that. They'll do it with you, no problem, without second guessing, because the aura that you have, like being in your presence is like a blessing. You make them feel good about themselves. You kind of make them feel like you're more than worth it. All right, so indulgence is very interesting here. Men also, especially, really like to pay for things that have to do with hygiene or well being when it comes to you. So, like nails, hair, spa treatments, massages. This could also be trips, things like that. They don't mind doing things that are going to put you in a really good headspace because they feel like it's worth that. We have imagination here, which is interesting. Okay, so there's a lot of fantasizing from men towards you. There's also this energy of variety and having your pick of the bunch, like you are not short or in lack of any suitors. People come all the time. Okay, there's always someone new that could be at your door wanting to vie for your attention. They fantasize about you a lot. Also, the energy of thoughts and mind, right? Like thinking about you, strategizing. How can I compete better? How can I be better? How can I get more of their attention, more of their communication? How can I surprise them? How can I wow them? All right, so imagination is here, and there's a lot of fantasizing about the future between you and them. And last but not least, we have alliance. And again, there's this energy of you making men feel good. Like you give me the pile who is nice to men, you are respectful, you treat them with dignity. And I know that's like, okay, there's nothing very special about that, but it is because we do live in a society where some people do not treat men so kindly. All right. They kind of give them a little bit more harder time. And it feels like for you, you don't do that where it's not necessary. And men really feel good about that, and they do more for you because of that. They trust you right away. They feel like you're very honest. They feel like you guys have a certain level of compatibility. They want to be in alliance with you. They want to help you towards your dreams, your goals. You know, they want to get you that thing that you feel like is expensive that you want to buy yourself. They want to buy it for you. Okay. So you just have this energy of making men feel really good. And because of that, I feel like you are able to get a lot more out of them versus other people. And without axing, by the way, which is really cool. All right, last pile we have here is your tarot. And yeah, let's see what's going on here. Again, there's this energy of how you make people feel. You know, I don't even want to talk about just men. I feel like even for women, you make people feel good. You know, there's something really good about being around you and your energy that does make you very addictive. Okay. And the reason I'm saying that is again is because we have the Nine of Wands in reverse. Nine of Wands in the upright is all about feeling exhausted, especially in a connection or even, you know, in an environment. Nine of Wands in reverse is like finding relief from what exhausts you. You could attract a lot of men who work really hard, long hours, and they could be really exhausted from that lifestyle, but you kind of light up their world and make them forget about their stresses. They feel like you're a breath of fresh air type of energy, which is not easily come by. Okay. You don't naturally stress people out or men out. Okay. You actually bring them a lot of comfort and some relief from whatever struggles they have to go through being the masculine in their everyday life. Ace of Pentacles is very telling. Ace of Pentacles is that energy of initially, right off the bat, when a man meets you, they want to invest or they want to commit in some type of way. Okay. This could be as subtle as someone giving you the key to their loft, to their house, you know, and saying, if you ever need to stop by and I'm not there, you have access. This is as simple as someone saying, "Oh, you know, can you go on my phone?" And you're like, "Oh, what? I don't have the passcode." And you try to give it to them and they just give you the passcode because it's that level of trust, even with that alliance card. And it's like these early commitments that you get right off the bat without having to ask or fight for it. Okay. It's also an energy of meeting someone and they wanting to commit to you in a relationship, wanting to be monogamous, wanting to be the only one that you see and the only one that they see. So that Ace of Pentacles also could be an energy of investing. So even men who come across as business partners or collaborators in career, they are willing to give more of the pie than you are bringing to the table, and they feel okay with that. All right. So Ace of Pentacles, this energy of commitment and offers and proposals and type of energy like that. And last card we have here is Justice. Justice is really good because Justice talks about men feeling like they want to be fair and honest to you, lead with integrity in this situation. It's also energy of being balanced, so not asking for more than you're willing to give. Also, Justice can talk about like fidelity and just being monogamous and being true and honest and not being a cheater. All right. Also, with Justice is like karma, right? So I do feel this energy of like certain men going through some hard times based off of their wrongdoings. And when they meet you, it's like a breath of fresh air because it's like, okay, maybe I've paid my karma. Like, say someone could have been married and they weren't the best husband and they went through a divorce. It was harsh. They had a lot of consequences, but that time in their life is over. They paid their dues. They wronged their rights, and they're just kind of bracing themselves to see if karma is still knocking at their door. And if they meet you, it's like their signifier that all is well, and they have completely buried the past by making things better or changing who they are, changing their habits, changing the way that they move. So there's something about like some type of relief with the justice that now things are balanced, because if not, I don't think God or the universe would have allowed me to meet this person, which is really crazy. It's like, okay, they use you as a signifier of like life is good again, all is well again, right? Because someone just who is so refreshing as you they would not be able to afford that connection if they still were on the other side of the wheel or the other side of karma. All right. So there's something like that here with that justice energy. There are people from your past as well that want to right their wrongs with you. Um, so I don't know. There's people here who want to apologize to you or even like do favors or generosity to be able to make things up to you from what they did in the past. There's something lingering here with that. Let me see what that's about. All right. So there's people here. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse. You could have been very generous, or you could have been an energy of like being very open. I don't know. Queen of Wands is not a chaser, but she's very motivated to get what she wants. And there's something very thrilling or exciting that you brought into certain people's lives. There could be men from your past that you were very adventurous with, you stepped into new experiences with, you could have been more open and tried new things with. You could have also been very confident, and based off of bad things that happened, it could have lowered your confidence. It could have took a toll on your confidence, your self esteem, or you just being very enthusiastic and open. And there's someone from your past who wants to apologize, okay? And they feel bad. They feel like they have suffered some karma as well, because I'm seeing the Nine of Swords. There could be a man from your past who has like nightmares or feels like they're suffering from how they've done you. Yeah, Seven of Swords. All right, so just didn't do you well. Could have been a cheater or a liar, could have taken from you, betrayed you in some way. They also know that they did a number on your confidence, or you just weren't naturally as enthusiastic leaving that situation as you were entering. And I feel like this man wants to apologize to you with the justice. But when it comes to newer encounters, I feel like your newer encounters or the karma that you're going to get, the good karma is that you're going to get a very honest person coming towards you. All right, if you're single, you have someone being more honest with you. If you're in a relationship and you are forgiving this person, but it definitely took a toll on you, I feel like this person's going to be way more honest moving forward. All right, so that's what I have for you, pile number one. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like the video before you go. Comment down below. Let me know which parts of this resonated for you. Also, if you're new here, please subscribe. I do more pick a card readings I think you'll like, so definitely stay tuned. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye. All right, pile number two. This is for those of you who felt called to pick the goddess Artemis. All right, so I'm going to tell you what I wrote down for your pile, what I feel about who you are watching. And then I have 5 different piles that we have some cards from. We're going to reveal them and see what do men think about you at this time. All right, so let's start with my notes. So, what I got from those of you who felt called to the goddess Artemis is that you are fiercely independent, okay? You are very independent, naturally independent. You are not easily locked down. I feel like a lot of men really see that about you. And it's like, okay, this is not someone who's going to be easy to catch. You inspire, challenge, and the chase out of others. So you may find that a lot of men may come in groups, because I do get this energy of challenge, like, survival of the fittest type of energy. Who's going to take the victor? So you inspire a lot of challenge in the chase out of others. Men also tend to be maybe challenging other men to get your attention or to be your friend or to get your business partnership, however it may come through for you. You also could be seen by men as picky or very selective, and maybe even a little indecisive. Like maybe you are interested one day, but then maybe the next month you're not so interested. You could change your mind very quickly. You could also come from a powerful lineage, as Artemis has came from a powerful lineage. And I feel like a lot of men feel like your parents could be very intimidating to meet. So this just depends. I mean, even if it's a man friend, they may feel like meeting your mom or your dad for the first time could have been incredibly nerve-wracking. Maybe they want to shit their pants. I don't know. Even when it comes to love and romance, men may feel like meeting your parents or meeting where your roots, who you came from, could be very intimidating. Say you even come from a certain culture, maybe that could be very intimidating as well, or a certain race even. Because also what I feel like with Artemis, because she does carry that bow, it kind of gives Sagittarius energy. And, Sagittarius is very worldly and cultural. So there could be something like that. Like maybe there's a lot of men who do come to you from different cultures, backgrounds, races, things like that. And there's something intimidating about coming into your family, your stomping grounds, your life, okay? Also, they also may feel like you rather chase or you have fun chasing. So when you're being chased, it's not really exciting for you. And it could be come off as a little bit of a bore. You're not someone who's easily moved, maybe by like other people who really find a thrill of being chased. You may want to chase, yourself, or you could be interested in people who are not chasing you, or you may just be chasing other goals in life. Again, with that archer energy of Sagittarius, you could be chasing education, learning more about the world, philosophy. You could be chasing travel, adventure. So, there's so much more of a thrill out there that you could be chasing that keeps your attention span very short. All right. And also, men who are interested in you romantically, they feel like marriage is not a goal for you. Like that's not something that you dreamt about since you were a little girl or a little boy, depending on who's watching. So they're just like, okay, you're different. You could have bigger goals at hand that excite you more than marriage, okay? Also, you could be highly protective of those you love, especially the women in your life. All right. So there's something that maybe certain men have seen that you're very protective of your siblings, your sisters, your best friends, your mother, your grandmother, or even just strangers. You are always willing to step up, especially for women, and be very protective. And you're not someone who is shy of a challenge or even confrontation. You do tend to be like the bear in people's life, very powerful, a force to be reckoned with. And, you know how to beat the bully. I don't know why I'm getting that. Okay. Men also see that you're very self sufficient, so you can take care of yourself really good. Even if you're in hard times in your life, you tend to be very resourceful, or you're someone who doesn't beg for help. Okay. You could be considered to be in solitude a lot of times too. Like men may feel like you really enjoy just being to yourself. You may not spark up conversation. Again, it doesn't feel like you're chasing, and you don't have any problem being alone. You may also really enjoy your me time. You have a very earthy energy about you. So whether that's like your diet, or, how you like to be in nature, if you have hobbies that deal with nature, how you wear your hair, the clothes you wear, the colors that you like. There's something very earthy about you, and could be deeply connected to nature. All right, so I didn't want to write too many messages. I could go on and on, but I wanted to keep it very short, and I'm going to get into your piles now. So let's see where we should start. I'm going to start with this one for you. Okay. All right, so we have Heart with a Key, and we have Stabbed in the Back. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is a lot to unpack, but let's talk about it. So, what Heart with a Key, I feel like when men meet you, they feel like, oh my God, you're the one. Like you are the one they've been searching for, they've been looking for. You make their heart beat in a way that they have not felt before. They feel like they're welcoming love, they're meeting the one. They feel like they want to open their heart. There could be an energy of like a lot of men who are very nonchalant, or could be very detached or aloof, that just kind of something sparks about you. Okay. You really do bring in a big energy or wave of desire and emotion out of them. They also feel like they want to get together with you. So they are looking for a commitment, or they are looking for something further than just dating. And they also feel like you're perfect. Okay. And that didn't come from my mouth. That came out on the card. So good for you. All right. So men think that you are the perfect match for them. They think you're a perfect man or woman, whoever I'm speaking to. And they really want to get together with you. They feel like they have met the one. Now, this card is interesting, Stabbed in the Back. So, first and foremost, what I'm getting from this is that men could feel like you have been stabbed in your back many times, where you're not easily trusting. You're not as open to, connection. It has to be earned, or it takes time for you. They may feel like you have went through or suffered some type of heartbreak or pain. Now, this could be true, but this also could be like some type of projection or assumption based off of you not being so open. Okay. They may feel like you keep a healthy distance for what feels comfortable for you. They also may feel like, a lot of men also may feel like they're getting ahead with you and maybe you could change your mind. So again, there was that energy of indecision that I wrote down, or just being very selective or even picky. So even when people feel like they're 10 steps ahead, you may switch up the game on them and just change your mind completely, and that can make them feel stabbed in the back. Okay, so like an energy of being led on. Okay, so yeah, that's interesting. But let me tell you something. Pile number two, those of you who felt called to pick Artemis, you have a very fun pile. Okay. All right, let's see what else is coming out for you. We have megaphone for how men feel about you. And we also have church, which is interesting. Okay. So megaphone talks about someone who's in the public eye. So they could see you as someone who is very confident in your own skin. You don't mind, being out in the public. You don't mind, networking, mingling, speaking your truth. You could be someone who's very outspoken. You're someone who likes to be heard. So you're not the type who's just going to appease them, especially if you meet a man, no matter what the dynamic is, that just wants to hijack the conversation and just wants to be heard. You kind of shut that down because you feel like I have a lot to say about myself. I'm very proud as well. Let me speak a little bit as well. Okay. So that's very interesting. You shine very brightly. You take the spotlight. You could turn heads very easily by not doing much. Okay. And you definitely do overshine your connections. So even in your family, you could really stand out. In your friend group, you could stand out. In relationships, you tend to stand out, almost like the sun. All right. They feel like you have things that you should put out there. So they could see you as someone who would do very well in a podcast or in a panel setting or speaking on stage or writing a book or creating a course. Okay. It does give ninth house energy for sure. They feel like your wisdom or your talent, your skill, or your teaching should be amplified. Okay, so you really do draw in people who are very talkative. They just want to listen to you. They feel like you have something really good to say. They also may feel like you have a wide audience here. So they may feel, they may feel like there's a lot of people who you have their attention. They see you as someone who speaks up, who's bold, someone who increases their visibility over time. Okay, so if they don't snatch you up right away, in a year's time, you'll have a wider audience and you'll be more public. And there's something even about recognition, fame, or status that kind of gets better with you over time, which is amazing. Okay, so that's really nice. And we have church here, which is interesting. With this, I don't feel like you embody the church energy at all. I'm going to read to you the meanings, but it doesn't feel like it coincides with you. It feels like this is what men want to do when they encounter you. They want to put you in this box, okay? So this is about someone who has strong principles, someone who could be very religious, someone who has or follows a certain dogma, someone who has strong family values, someone who wants marriage, someone who's very structured or has a strong belief system, someone who is very traditional, someone who is into some type of programming. That doesn't really fit you that well. You may have the strong family values, you may have strong belief systems, but I feel like this is what men want to do when they meet you, whether this is going to be a friendship, a love connection, a business connection. It feels like people want to put you in this box because, again, there's this energy of feeling like you're the one and you're perfect for them, but almost wanting to minimize your energy with the megaphone and kind of put you in a box. So also with that marriage, you may encounter a lot of proposals in this lifetime, okay, that you may end up denying until you feel like you met someone who matches your vibe. So that's very interesting as well. And yeah, that's just interesting, those cards, okay? So that's whatever. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay. All right, let's talk about the Lenormand that came out. So we have this card, which is a card of marriage. It doesn't look like it though, okay? Which is so funny about this card, but if you look a little bit closer, they're exchanging rings, okay? But from the chimney, it just looks like a lot of smoke and mirrors. It looks cloudy, looks problematic, looks a little hot. It's just funny because this card's supposed to be positive. It's about exchanging vows, but this card doesn't look so positive. Now, this could also be incense smoke that clears out energy, before you're exchanging your vows to allow your marriage to start on good terms or with the best wishes. But I don't know, something about the imagery of this is just so funny based off of this pile of I feeling like not very traditional and maybe not wanting marriage, or even if you do want marriage, it's not like the forefront of your life, okay? So I do feel like a lot of men do want to lock you down. And again, even if it's not romantic, lock you down as a lifelong friend, lock you down as a serious business partnership or connection, wanting to be in your inner circle, wanting that commitment from you. All right, so that is interesting that that came out. We have this card, which talks about sickness and not being well. So I feel like a lot of men, after dealing with you, maybe after having to chase to exhaustion, or having to challenge, other people to get into your energy, into your life. There's this energy of feeling sick, feeling like, man, that winded me or that took a lot out of me. Okay. So it's not easy to tie you down or to get your attention or to get that communication. And it's just, I don't mean to laugh, but it's kind of funny that there's this energy of feeling unwell, all right? And feeling like I'm not well after trying to chase after pile number two who picked Artemis. They're not easy to tie down. And you could leave a lot of men winded or exhausted or feeling like, maybe even mentally unwell because the chase was just really hard and it's a lot of strife and there's a lot of indecision, or maybe someone feels strung along. Okay. So it's like the pursuit for the vows is very tiring and exhausting, which is so funny. All right. Last but not least, we have this, which is like consolation. And it's the energy of wishing, like, you're dreaming, fantasizing, you're wishing for what you want in life, what would make you happy, what would fulfill you. And I do feel that energy too of you being like every man's or whoever you encounter's fantasy girl, fantasy guy, and feeling like you are just so out of reach. And there's also this energy of like that Four of Cups, like not feeling fulfilled until they do conquer you in some way. Okay. So you do invoke a lot of fantasy. There could be a lot of fantasizing here, sexual fantasy, or romantically, or even when it comes to just having a platonic connection, a business connection, there's a fantasy behind that. There's a lot of people who dream about you and may feel like you're very out of reach or hard to catch. Okay, your cards are kind of cracking me up. All right, let's see what else we have here. We have in this deck, we have Pride, we have Coach, and we have Fate. All right, we can start with Fate. Fate is just feeling like, there's something very there's no coincidence here, or it could be coincidental of meeting you, and it feels fated, it feels like destiny. Okay, and this is why people may fantasize so much, because it feels like when they meet you, you're perfect, you're the one, we're meant to be. Okay, so something just feels like, wow, I feel like the universe brought us together. It feels very spiritual, it feels like very selective that I met pile number two. So fate is coming out. We also have Pride here. So you could have a lot of people who are very, very confident when they meet you, but I do feel like the pursuit of trying to create something with you could make people a little bit insecure. Okay. And even with that pride, they may feel like you have a very healthy ego and you have a very high self esteem. You may have a lot of high worth, that it could be overshadowing maybe what they thought they had. All right. So pride is coming out. And then we have Coach here. So Coach is very interesting because, again, there's a lot of men who feel like you should have a mic. Which is kind of cool, like that they actually feel that way. They would listen to you to no end, or they like your wisdom, or they like your teachings, or you're very talented or skilled in some way, and they would follow you. You do give a big energy of leadership. But also Coach talks about obedience, so doing as you say and falling very obedient into the connection as they encounter you, and wanting to just Stick to the rules of your game, okay? Whatever that may mean. If I can't see you until next month, then I can't see you until next month, and I'm not going to fight about it. So it's just very interesting, your cards coming out. All right. But they also feel like you're highly intelligent and you have great knowledge and wisdom. You have experiences that you can pull from that teach them things that maybe they weren't able to learn in school. They weren't able to learn from their parents, from their family. And it's something very special about you and what you've experienced in life and all the adventures that you took, and maybe even the risk that you took in life that allowed you or afforded you this wisdom. Okay. All right. And last but not least, we have tarot finally. So the cards coming out for how men feel about you. We have Judgment here. We have the Seven of Wands. And we have the Devil. El Diablo. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. So Judgment is really like, I always see Judgment as this. I feel it like as like your calling. Like, I always make this analogy of you sitting in the doctor's office and everybody's waiting to be seen, and you're kind of like, on your phone. You could be scrolling, you could be reading the posters on the wall, you're kind of distracted, but once they come out and they say pile number 2 to the back, you get up and you go to the back and then you're seen. So it's the energy of being called by the universe to do something. It's your time to shine. It's your time to do something. You're meeting the one. Okay. So with that Judgment energy, they definitely feel like there's some type of calling of how you and them are supposed to forge ahead and create something great, whatever that may mean. Judgment is also about forgiveness and second chances. So you could have a lot of men that from the past would really want a second chance and also may still be wondering if they have your true forgiveness for things that they could have done wrong or any misunderstandings that you guys could have had, okay, with that Judgment. Judgment also is an awakening as well. So you could provide a special enlightenment or an awakening to the men that come into your life. You kind of change the way that they view life, their perception, their mindset. You may change their direction in life, their path ahead. And there's something about that that you naturally provide to men who are interested. Okay. We have the Seven of Wands here. Seven of Wands says a lot. Seven of Wands talks about you having your distance and not allowing people to get too close to you. You could be a little bit more reserved, or it takes a special person to kind of be able to stand up there tall with you and be on your same level. There's energy of men maybe feeling like they're not on your same level when they meet you because you are such, you almost, what it gives me? I don't know if you guys have been watching Love Island, and I forget the girl. I think her name's like Beatrice. And if you haven't been watching it really quickly, first of all, I think she's like an Olympic athlete for track, which is very like impressive. And on top of that, she's an amputee. So she has one of those, I forget, is it a paraplegic leg? No. She has one of those metal legs, that she has. And what I got to when I was watching the show is that a lot of men could have felt very intimidated by her because she's not naturally very girly or feminine. She almost has this energy of a leader or an alpha woman. And a lot of men probably know also from her being in the Olympics that she is like a challenger, like if I was to run track, this is not a girl I could beat. Like she could beat me in a lot of sports, she could be naturally faster than me. And on top of that, she's missing a leg and she's still this phenomenal woman. And it almost gives that energy of like, you definitely do give a challenge. There could be challenge of like other suitors or men or people vying for your attention and chasing you, but you're also hard to keep up with, if that makes sense. And yeah, that's what I'm getting with the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is the energy of having to prove yourself over and over again. So it almost feels like they may feel like they're being judged by you and that you are going to either give them the approval or the denial, and having to overly prove themselves. Like even if I bought flowers last month and I booked a trip last month, it doesn't even stand for next month. I have to continuously do this over and over again. It doesn't stop the chase. Okay. And last card we have here is a Devil. Now, this is very interesting because the devil is just, it's a very intense card. So there is something very intense about when you do encounter men in that initial meeting and how drawn they feel to you. And um, it feels like a fire inside that they can't put to bed or put to rest. Okay. The devil could also be a high end sexual energy. So you could find that a lot of men are, you know, they can't control their sexual desires for you. They really want that really bad. They want to conquer you in the bedroom, whatever. Devil also is the energy of vices and bad habits. So that is something that you also may challenge out of men to change their ways, to change their vices, their bad habits, to be able to keep up to you. And it also is the energy of wanting to control or conquer you. So remember when we talked about that card, church, and I said this doesn't really naturally feel like you, even though this is a beautiful card and it has very positive meanings. It doesn't naturally feel like your personality, and it's the energy of wanting to box you in, wanting to confine you, chain you up so that you can't get away, you can't go nowhere, almost to just have you for their own, the energy of conquering. So the devil is here, and so maybe that could be a big turnoff for you, and maybe that's why you're not really focused on men. And you could be just focused on other things. You're not quick to want to settle down or to get married, because maybe that may require you to sacrifice things that actually bring you a lot of fulfillment. All right, so that's what I have for you, pile number 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like the video, comment down below, let me know what resonated about this pile for you. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. If you're new here, I would love to have you. I do publish out more pick-a cards that you may actually like. So definitely stick around. Hi guys. All right, this is for pile number 3 for those of you who felt called to pick the Orisha Yemaya. And all of the piles are very special, but this one is especially unique. For whatever reason, I feel like this is a very powerful pile. So whoever felt called to this, you are a very powerful person. And I did write down some notes, and then I'm going to show you the cards that I pulled from 5 different decks to let you know how men view you at this time. All right, especially in this year of 2026, this is how men will be viewing you. So what I wrote down for you, for those of you who felt called to pick Yemaya, I feel like you could have a very healing and intuitive presence. I feel like men naturally want to unpack their deepest fears or secrets on you. You could find that very often. You meet someone, no matter what it is, if it's platonic or even if it's like a date, or if you just meet someone at an event, it feels like people naturally feel drawn to unpacking their fears and their worries, almost like needing some type of reassurance from you, feeling this high level of respect. And it's also one of those energies of being highly intuitive that people just feel like you can see right through them. So they almost feel inclined to tell you what's hiding behind their mask. As they are naturally drawn to you, they want to get to know you better. They just feel like they owe it to you, almost like an energy of justice, to just unpack what they went through or what they fear, like there's this energy of not feeling good enough for you. Okay. So it's almost like, let me tell you what I'm dealing with and see if I'm still worthy to be in your presence. So you could find that men naturally want to unpack their deepest fears or secrets onto you right off the bat. People open up to you very quickly. I also feel like men see you as very abundant and loved by many. So you could have many friends, you could have a big family. They just see that there's love in your life. You're not lacking of love. People call you often, they text you often, they invite you out. People want to be around you. People speak highly of you. So they see that you're not lacking love. Also, they feel like you could be very popular. I also feel like men tend to get very jealous over you and also your attention span. So wherever you put your attention to, they could get very jealous. And, sometimes this could be like sometimes this could be like, okay, cool. Like you think highly of me, but sometimes I feel like this could give you the ick, especially if they get jealous over people that are just in your life, are meant to be in your life, like your family, your friends, your children. Okay. So I feel like that could become a little bit of a problem, but I feel like men can't help but to get jealous over you and your attention, because there's something so high about your energy, so regal about your energy, okay? And once people get it, then they get like addicted. Also, men think that you would make a great mother or father if there's a masculine watching this. People cannot forget you as well. So once people meet you, you kind of get stuck in their subconscious very deeply where they could dream about you, or even if a month goes by, you still are popping up in their head. Even if they haven't seen your social media or spoke to you in a while, they're just always thinking about you. You get stuck in people's subconscious minds. All right. So yes, I feel like men cannot forget you. What else did I write here? Let's see. Yes, like you're deeply embedded in people's brains. Men who have wronged you also suffer from guilt for a long time. And when I'm speaking a long time, I'm talking about like years, decades, the rest of their life. Like people who have wronged you, lied to you, cheated you, were dishonest. Well, that is lying, or just did something that slighted you in a bad way. It feels like they really suffer from immense guilt where it really takes a toll on them, even their mental health. And it's not short lived. It's kind of like long lasting. There's longevity in that guilt. Okay. So even people from your past that you felt like have done you wrong and you walked away from, they're still thinking about that and they feel horrible and it eats them up inside. Also, men see that you are very spiritually active. So, out of all the other piles, pile number one and pile number two, I feel like for pile number three, you guys are the most spiritually active. I feel like you guys are really heavy in your spiritual practice, your routines, your rituals, prayer, your beliefs. Whatever you do, your craft, your work, whatever you do, I feel like you're the most spiritually active and consistent. And people see that about you and they think highly of that. Okay. They see that that means a lot to you, that, your spiritual side comes first. That's a priority in your life. Men also see that you are becoming more powerful and abundant over time. So there's this energy of feeling like you could be a missed opportunity for a lot of men who didn't take their chance, who may have undervalued you, overlooked you. This is even going back, I'm thinking about like childhood. So, like, even if you had like a middle school crush or a high school crush, if they're looking at your social media now or they have any way to check up on your energy, they feel like they missed a good one. And you could be the one that got away for a lot of men. Okay. So that's what I have for you. And those are the notes that I wrote down. I didn't want to write too much because I tend to ramble sometimes. So I didn't want to do that. All right. So let's see. Out of the 5 different decks, I pulled some cards for you. Let's see, where should we start? Let's start with this one. Okay. All right, so we're starting with Lenormand, and you got the messenger for how men feel about you. With this card, I feel like guys really have a hard time communicating. It's one of those things like maybe the most confident man can approach you, but they stumble over their words, or they have this whole speech of what they want to say and how they want to present themselves, and they kind of fumble hard and they walk away feeling like they didn't get the true message out. There's something very mesmerizing about your energy where they could just stumble or they just have a hard time communicating. And there's a lot of people, even right now in your life, who want to reach out to you to get to know you better, but they have a hard time. It's like they stop themselves. I'm seeing like even someone like writing a message, deleting it, sitting on it for some time, putting it in their notes app and just never sending it. There's a lot of like pressure because of your regal energy of how they need to come towards you. They need to come correct. They need to say the right things. They need to impress you overall. And also there's that energy I talked about of feeling like guilt. There's a lot of guilt. Even people you don't really even know that want to speak to you, they just want to unpack their fears, their worries, their weaknesses, let you know what they're coming with because they feel like they owe that to someone of your respects, okay? We have reunion here. So there are, again, a lot of people who feel like they missed out, or a lot of men who feel like they missed out on some type of opportunity with you, whether that was friendship, love, business. They think about it often. They think back to you often. A lot of people cannot forget you. So even people that you guys didn't hit the ground running, maybe it wasn't a match, they think about you very often. They're not able to move forward. There also could be this energy of comparison as they do move forward and meet other people. And yeah, there's this energy of reunion, wanting to run into you again, wanting a reason to contact you, you know? Um, People from your childhood who are looking at you now and they're seeing how abundant and powerful you are. And they're like, man, I wish I would have taken that more seriously or shot my shot when I had the chance. So reunion is coming out. And last card we have here really does talk about, and it's very interesting that this card came out. Okay. But I really felt this when I was writing down these messages for those of you who felt called to pick Yemaya. We have despair. And again, it's that immense guilt people feel around you. Okay. It's also this energy of like, people can't wear their mask around you. Men can't wear their mask around you. So if they are not a good person, if they're a player, a cheater, if they are a liar, it's like even approaching you that first time, there's this like, there's some kind of force that makes them want to like bow at your feet and confess their sins. Okay. And I get the same thing for people who have done you wrong. They sit in this guilt. They cannot let it go. Even if you've forgiven them, even if you moved on with your life, you're not looking back, you don't even think about them. They think about you often and how they have wronged you. And it's something that really haunts them. Okay. It's almost like karma. So despair is coming out, which is interesting, but I definitely felt that vibe with your pile, with this pile number 3. Okay. All right. So that's the first deck. Let's see what else we have here. I'm going to go to this one. All right. So we have coffin. I also feel like, you know, that energy of unpacking on you, a lot of men that come and approach you, no matter if it's like platonic, acquaintances, networking, love, they approach you during a time that they could have experienced some type of tremendous ending. Because if I'm not mistaken, you know, Yemaya is an energy of healing, emotional healing. So I feel like a lot of men do come into your life when they have dealt with a tremendous ending, something ground shaking, something that really provides them with some type of evolution and growth. But also, you know, endings can contain sacrifice as well. So it can be really hard. And there's this emotional heaviness that people often come into your life with, but they are meeting you at a time that things have really ended, that they're not holding on or lingering to those things and they're stepping into a new beginning. So you also feel like a breath of fresh air, or you feel like maybe even a blessing after learning a tough lesson. You do really inspire growth and change into people. There's something very freeing about you because even though people place or men place very high expectations for what they need to be to court you or be around you, you have this energy of allowing people to come as they are, and you're not really placing those high standards or expectations. If it doesn't fit your expectations, you're just not going to entertain it. But it's not like you're forcing that or demanding that. Okay. So there's this energy of liberation. Of course, with the coffin transition, you meet people while they're in a transition from moving from something really harsh, or maybe even their old way of being, if they had bad habits, bad vices, and becoming something new. And you inspire that change based off of your aura. We have girl talk here. Okay, so there's that energy of chatting and people just unpacking on you and telling you all their secrets that they would never tell anyone, just giving it up easily. You kind of give that energy that they feel like they have to say it to you. So there's this energy of like wanting to communicate with you a lot more often. A lot of people walk away from your conversations, whether they're over text or the phone or even in person, feeling like they didn't have enough time with you. They want to speak to you again. You made them feel really light just talking to you. You know, you could even be the type of person who just sits and listens. You know, you give your input very steadily, but there's something very revolutionary and inspiring about just sitting with you and having a conversation with you. It feels life changing. All right. Also, men feel like you are someone who will move on very easily. Like you're not someone who stays stuck in situations that are not meant for you, that you have a really great sense of self-worth. Also, if you are single, men really think that you're happy being single. You're not someone who's out here who's desperate for connection. Okay, so that's something that's very empowering as well. They also feel like you know how to live in the moment and have a lot of fun, which could be very inspiring to them, or even it's just something new from what they have dealt with before. All right, so girl talk is here. Girl talk is interesting too because again affirms this energy of you being loved by many people and having a really healthy social circle, and not being fixated on men, but really just living your life, living your best life, and forging connections with people that you care about outside of just men. So they definitely see that about you here with Coffin and Girl Talk. All right, we have, let's see. We have Care here. This goes hand in hand with Yemaya energy because she is the mother of all, right? Or she has many fishes or many children. So Care is here. So they definitely feel like you would make a great parent, a great mother or father, depending on who's watching. They feel like you are very supportive to the people that you love. Like maybe it's not a lot of people that you have. A lot of people love you, but you don't necessarily love everyone. Like you just have your close people, and those people have afforded your love by doing right by you. And they feel like that's a big benefit, or that's something very special that they don't want to take for granted, or sorry, I hear people talking. And they feel like your support is very like expensive. Okay. So they feel like it's very valuable is what I'm trying to say. So Care is here. Sorry about that, guys. I got a little distracted. We have Nightmare. Oh my God. Again, this just affirms that energy that people know that if they've done you wrong, they have this energy of persecution or suffering that they go through all on their own. It doesn't really feel like you have to get people back. It doesn't feel like you have a vengeful spirit. All right. But everybody does get, it's natural and human to feel some type of way if someone does you wrong, but it feels more so like the forces that be have you protected and covered. And someone who has done you wrong, they could have done many people wrong, but they don't sit and ruminate in that energy except for you. There's something that they cannot move past of how they done you wrong, feeling like you did not deserve it, but also it's something about your energy is so high powered that it's like, oh my God, I did this person wrong and now my life is in suffering. So there's this energy of persecution, even for the men who have done you wrong in the past. And there's people, even new men coming into your life that really don't want to step on your toes in any way. And that's why I feel like they feel the need to confess their secrets and their worries and their fears, almost giving you this collateral to work with before you even grace them your energy. Okay. I know it's crazy, but I think you know what I'm talking about. All right. And last but not least, we have Libation, which again, there's a lot of respect for you. All right. People really see your self-worth and they see your confidence, and they don't want to come and minimize that in your life. They know better than to do that. People want to naturally, or men want to naturally do favors for you, be generous towards you. They naturally want to give you your respect right away. Even the most arrogant men can come into your life and they feel like, they have to prove themselves to you. But with other people, they don't give a damn. Okay. So there's something about that with Libation here. Oh my God. It's like you're literally a goddess. Okay. Or a god, depending on who you are and, where you stand, feminine or masculine. But it's like you're literally a god or a goddess. So yeah. I told you this pile is very powerful. I could just feel it even before getting into your cards. Okay, so let's see what's next here. All right, we have the raccoon in this deck, and we also have the falcon. All right, with the raccoon, people may feel like you're a natural problem solver. And again, I don't feel this energy of you wanting to be a caretaker or wanting to, solve people's problems. I don't feel like you're just like an enabler in that way, but there's something about sitting with you and conversation, and maybe even the wisdom or the intuition that you use to tell people maybe how to navigate their next steps, how to move forward in life. It's just very empowering, something that maybe their own parents couldn't do for them, their own therapist couldn't do for them. So Falcon is interesting. Oh, sorry, Raccoon is very interesting with the problem solver. Also, people get very curious about you with that intuitive energy. Sometimes there's a little bit of mystery, someone who knows it all about other people, but in return, people don't really know much about you. So there's a curiosity that you do bring. They want to naturally ask you a lot of questions about your life. And I feel like you're very strategic when it comes to that. You only allow people to know what they need to know and not more. Okay. They see you as someone who could be very adaptable, and the way that comes off is like, I'm someone who's been through a lot and you're still gracing me with your presence, your conversation. You're coming off of your high horse to even grace my presence. So there's something adaptable about that. They could see you as very creative, or you inspire creativity out of people. That's you just being like a natural like influencer energy. Okay. So like when men see how you dress, they may really want to, shop at those stores if they have their type of clothing. When they see how you wear your hair, they may also research how to change up their hair. If you're going after something, a goal at mind, you inspire them to get into their goals and not just let life ramble aimlessly. So there's something about that. All right. They also could see you as a little bit mischievous. So again, they're kind of, even the most mischievous person could come towards you and they feel like they have to just bear it all. But with you, you just kind of are more reserved, almost like high priestess energy, and not giving it up. And that could come off a little mischievous to them. They may see you as very resourceful and also highly intelligent or very clever. With the Falcon, this talks about you rising above the drama. So again, I don't feel like you're someone who's very vengeful. If men do you wrong, then you just kind of move forward with your life. They could see you as someone who has natural talent, skill, or abilities. You could be very focused. You could be a very strategic person at the end of the day. They see you as someone that they come towards in transition. Now, you being very spiritually active, you may have a lot of meanings behind why things happen in life, the synchronicities of it all. People who come towards you may not have that same intuition, but it feels like while dealing with you, they start to impact their spiritual sense, and they start to see like, oh, part of me meeting this person was me in a transition. I afforded this connection by leaving something behind, sacrificing an old part of myself. I had to upgrade or level up to be able to meet this person finally, or even be in their presence. So they see that as a transition area. They see that there's a lot of changes that they could be making because of you, to impress you or to chase you or to want to be in cahoots with you. You really bring out, connecting with your higher self because you do it very effortlessly and you influence or naturally inspire. So that's what you help men do as well. You help them also to open their third eye and also think far ahead and not just like so much like quick goals, like long-term goals, strong foundations, your legacy, the bigger meaning of life. What is your role in life? I'm thinking of Dharma from Vedic astrology. So things like that. All right. Nice. All right. Last but not least, last pile that I have here for you, we have the King of Pentacles. Okay. We have the Knight of Pentacles. All right. And we have the Six of Cups. Interesting. Okay. All right. There's a lot to say. I'm gonna try to keep it really concise, but also get the translation out. Okay. First of all, King of Pentacles. A lot of men feel like this is who they need to be able to grace your presence or even get a chance with you or even have conversation with you. King of Pentacles is someone who knows their worth. They're highly abundant. They're very confident in their value and what they bring to a table. So it's almost like you challenge people's egos or even their self-esteem of like, how do you feel to sit next to someone who's in their throne? All right. So there's that. King of Pentacles also is someone who's known for their reputation and their good behavior. They have good standing in society. You could challenge a lot of men to be on their best behavior and not to look a fool or not to bring any foolishness to your yard. All right. There's something about abundance and wealth here. So you may challenge a lot of men also to step into their bag and be their most abundant self and to cut out laziness, procrastination, go ahead and forge ahead with their career goals, their financial goals, get their ducks in a row, be in good financial standing. What's interesting about that King of Pentacles is that we have the Knight of Pentacles here. So even though they feel like this is a need or this is a standard that cannot be, it has to be met to be around you, that Knight of Pentacles makes them feel like, okay, I'm not there yet. And I have a long ways to go before I get there. But what I do like about the Knight of Pentacles is that this talks about men becoming more reliable and accountable for their actions, being more dependable, being more routinely consistent. Okay, so you do bring out that aspect in men, which could be a really great quality. We need more men like that. So, yes. And you also teach them slow and steady. There's no rush here. So, even if someone's trying to pursue you romantically, it's like, let's not rush things. You're not going to get in my bed anytime soon. You're not going to be coming over my house anytime soon. You're not going to be calling me your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend anytime soon. We're going to take things slow, okay? It's earned. Everything is earned over here in this space, and that's just what it has to be. All right, so there's almost like this guarantee or this long-standing commitment to having growth in your connection. Last but not least, we have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is interesting because there is something that makes okay, I'm almost getting like fool energy, but also the child. Okay, so there is a beautiful energy of bringing out a lot of these men's inner child, because a lot of men could be focused on being super serious to impress you, but you also are not really demanding that. It's just your aura gives that off. And there's something about allowing them a safe space to connect, to grow, to transition, to change, also to open up about maybe their deepest fears and their secrets. And so there's a lot of innocence here. There's something about like men feeling like, they don't know it all. So even if you have this man who's super arrogant and feels like they know it all and they're the most wisest person on the planet, when they meet you, it's like, I still have a lot more to uncover. I have a lot to learn. With that Six of Cups as well, there's that child energy of feeling like you have a very nurturing spirit, and I need to respect your authority in that way. All right. Also, with the Six of Cups, there's something very familiar about your spirit. There's something very familiar, almost like a goddess or a god, like someone who is a higher power. There's something very familiar about how they feel a lot of comfort around you, to be themselves, to change. Okay. Because a lot of people don't change because they don't feel like they have the comfort to change. A lot of change happens when you're not comfortable because it really pushes you over the edge. But with you, you almost give like this energy of comfortability. And there's something very deja vu about you as well. So a lot of men could approach you and say, you remind me of someone. You remind me of my ex. You remind me of my mom. You remind me of my aunt. You remind me of my teacher from kindergarten that was so nice to me. You remind me of this, of that. There's something very familiar, deja vu like that they can't put their finger on. They don't even know why they're feeling this very strong familiarity with you, but they can't let that go. And Six of Cups as well is an energy of reunion. So there's a lot of men from your past that really want to reunite with you, but they just feel like you are a missed opportunity, and they do not want to disgrace you with their presence if you are not allowing that, or if you're not wanting that. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing. All right, so pile number 3, those of you who picked Yemaya, thank you so much for listening and tuning in. Please like the video before you go. Comment down below. Let me know what resonated with this pile. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I will be putting out some more pick a cards for you. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.